Hey guys, so this is going to be my birth plan video. I'm just going to go over everything that me and my doula and my husband have come up with that we are going to be, doing, and that we're hoping to, these are our preferences and stuff that we want to do. Well, first it just lists our name, our son's name Aiden, his due date, who all's going to be present at the birth, which is me, my husband, my mom, my grandmother, and our doula, who my doctor is and who Aiden's pediatrician is. And you're going to see me reading almost the entire time, so I won't get to look at you all while I am talking. For during labor, it says for Alan to be present at all procedures, our doula, Michelle, to be present for all procedures. And here's something that I read in a book, and I would suggest it was a great idea, and my doula was really glad that I had found that so that she can use it in her future as well, future births, is if you're planning to get like an epidural and use pain management like that, whenever you get to the hospital to see the anesthesiologist, as soon as you can, to complete the initial consult and the paperwork for the pain meds and epidural, because I read that it works so much better to go ahead and have that out of the way, so you're not waiting whenever you're in excruciating pain for, the anesthesiologist. They may be with another patient, or they might not be on the floor. So that's something that I would highly suggest you all do. So just go ahead and ask to see the anesthesiologist for your consult whenever you get admitted to the hospital. It can make things a lot better, a lot easier, make things a little bit faster, so you're not in excruciating pain and waiting on somebody else. I am going to be, it says, I'm going to labor in my own gown. I have a gown from Pretty Pushers that I plan to wear. I want to have access to light food and drinks. I know that can be up in the air about whenever you deliver at a hospital, because they're very limiting to what you can eat and drink. And actually, if I do go forward with the induction, if I make it till June 6th on Friday, I'm not allowed to eat anything past midnight the night before. And I have to be there at 5 a.m. So, that's just in case surgery or some kind of other intervention has to be done. But, I think that's kind of silly to tell a woman who's in labor or going to be, going into labor to not eat or drink, because you don't tell a runner not to have some kind of sustenance so they can complete the marathon. So I think it's kind of silly, but I totally understand, because, with medications, and I don't want to poop on anybody while I'm in labor. That's seems like a nightmare to me, and that's one thing I'm worried about and scared about. So I totally understand why they do that. But I know just for me in triage before, whenever I was having all those contractions, I had to have those 2 medicines given to me. They wouldn't let me eat or drink anything, and I was so thirsty. I felt like I was going to die. Because whenever you're pregnant, you get really thirsty anyway. And I don't know, I felt like I was going to die. And then finally, they let me have a grape popsicle and some Sprite and some water. Not a whole lot, but I don't know, it felt like it was the best tasting popsicle in the world. It was amazing whenever you're starving and really thirsty. Also, I want to have limited vaginal exams. And I want to be asked for permission before performing vaginal exams. I know they usually do tell you before they do it, but I've just heard horror stories of them just, coming in and sticking their hands up to check you, and I don't know, I just find that really invasive, and I don't like it. Let's see. My doula put in here to be respected if I make any noise. I hope I don't. They find that embarrassing. And then I would like the lights to be dimmed for a more relaxing atmosphere. And also, we ask that no students or residents provide care to me or my son during labor or delivery. And then after delivery. I usually am totally fine with students working on me, but because of all the issues that I've had and everything, I just really just want this to go as peacefully as it can be. And I know that whenever a student checks you, usually somebody else has to check you too, so it's like double the exams, and I don't know. I just personally just don't want it for this experience. Fetal monitoring. I want to have external fetal monitoring. I don't want to do the internal fetal monitoring. I like to avoid it if possible. I found out that it's like a tiny little hook screw. They actually screw into the baby's head, and that just sounds like a nightmare to me. And I don't know, I just find it crazy. But I mean, most people don't even know that it happens. I didn't even know they even did that till my doula told me about it. And she didn't even find out about it until her second or third birth, whenever she noticed that the baby had a scratch on his head. And she asked where it was from, and they said, oh, it was the monitor. And she goes, I thought it just stuck on the baby's head. I didn't know it actually went into the head. It doesn't hurt them. It's super tiny. But still, I just don't think it's a good idea. I don't like it. And I want access to a telemetry unit so I can have more of that's used in the early labor, so I can have more mobility, because I really hate being strapped to that machine for hours. I mean, it's so hard to move around, and if you do move, it's like with my placenta, the way it is, it's like, you lose the heartbeat, and it's just, I don't know, it's a pain. All right. Here's for labor induction. And says, I like to discuss induction options once reaching full term. We'll consider options such as artificial rupture of membranes and Pitocin. And I also will consider non-medical options such as nipple stimulation. And I do have a breast pump, so whenever, maybe when I hit Friday, I'll start maybe doing some nipple stimulation. But my nipples have been so tender and sore lately. I just can't even imagine it hurts even just to have clothing on them, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. All right, pain relief and comfort measures. I'm planning to have a medicated birth, but would like to also use the following if needed, and our doula will assist the most. Music, a birthing ball, which I get on daily and I bounce around and move around. Walking positions and changes, acupressure and massage, aromatherapy, heat packs, and ice packs. Delivery, we plan to take photos and video of Aiden's birth. I will not be showing any vaginal shots. If it gets in there, I will be taking it out, or I'll be blocking it out. I don't know. I really don't think anybody wants to see that. I sure know I don't, and I can't. No, not at all. I want to avoid invasive procedures such as vacuum, forceps, and an episiotomy. With the episiotomy, I told Dr. Brabson that I only wanted to have it done if he could tell, for sure that was beginning to rip, and he thought that, it would help things, but I'd really like to just, maybe tear on my own rather than have an episiotomy. Also, I want to avoid a C-section unless it's absolutely necessary. And I want absolutely no forceps used during delivery under any circumstances. And I talked to my doctor about this, and he said that that's completely fine, but that they only use it if, it gets, the baby gets in distress. But I said that I'd rather go ahead and have a C-section than use forceps, because I've heard horror stories, and I just can't. I don't know, I just can't wrap. It doesn't seem necessary to me. Okay, after delivery, I want skin-to-skin contact immediately. I want to initiate breastfeeding as soon as possible. I want the suctioning and warming done to be done while I'm holding Aiden. I want to do delayed cord clamping until after the cord ceases pulsing. Alan would like to cut the cord. And I do want my placenta shown to us because I'd love to see where Aiden's home was for the last 9 months. Newborn care, we plan to room in with Aiden. Alan will accompany Aiden if he needs to leave the room for any reason. We plan to circumcise, and I wanted to decline eye ointment, but I found out that in Tennessee, it's a state law. And the reason I was kind of against it is because I've never had any STDs, and that's one of the main reasons. And the doctor told me that the main reasons they do it is because of like chlamydia and gonorrhea problems. But I also didn't want for my son's first like experiences of seeing the world and seeing me and that bonding experience I want to have. I didn't want it to be, where he wouldn't be able to see because he had all that ointment in his eyes. But Dr. Babson told me that they can delay putting that on there so that me and Aiden could have that bonding time first. So that made me a lot more okay with it. Newborn feeding is Aiden will be exclusively breastfed if possible. If y'all have watched my videos in the past, I did have a breast reduction when I was 17. So it's completely 50-50 if I'm going to be able to breastfeed or not. And Dr. Brabson said in his practice too, women that have had breast reductions, it has been 50-50 whether they could or could not. And he said it could just be I might be able to use one breast. And I will give him every drop that I absolutely can. So I'm going to do my best. And let's see. So it said Aiden will be exclusively breastfed if possible. And due to a breast reduction, extra support and encouragement may be necessary. Because I know nurses can be a little bit pushy about if like breastfeeding isn't happening right off the bat. A little bit easy, I guess. I don't want any bottles or pacifiers to be introduced to him. Because I don't want him to get confused at all. And we would like frequent visits with a lactation consultant. And my doula is going to be staying 2 hours after birth to help me with bonding and with, breastfeeding. That's one of the reasons I really wanted a doula is because they help so much with breastfeeding. Okay, and this is just in there if it's necessary. In the event of preterm birth and requires NICU's care, we'd like to be made aware of all procedures Aiden needs. We want to hold him whenever possible. Begin pumping as soon as possible. Initiate breastfeeding as soon as Aiden's ready. And we like to explore option of donor milk, which is donor breast milk. And we are past that hump, thank you, Lord. So that's just in there unless, something happens to go wrong. Okay, and then it says, in the event of a C-section is necessary, we like to avoid general anesthesia, have the surgery explained as it happens. I want to lower the drape so I can see Aiden. Immediate contact with Aiden. Alan to stay with Aiden at all times. Initiate breastfeeding as soon as possible, in recovery if possible. And we would like our doula to be present. So that is our birth plan. I would highly suggest you all to come up with one. You know that birth plans, things can change. And you might not get everything you want, but it's nice to, really think about options that if you could plan the perfect birth, if you could really plan it and you could put it on paper so that, whenever you're in the process, at least somebody knows what your preferences are. I'm really glad that I did it. I didn't plan on doing one in the beginning. But it makes me feel a lot more confident and comfortable. His contractions are killing. And I don't know, I'm really glad that we did. I feel a lot more confident in my birthing experience, and my doctors went through it and we've talked about it. So that's about it. But if y'all have any questions, just put them in the comments below. I'll talk to you later. Bye.